welcome you all on History Edulearn, your very own personal educational channel. Today, it's time to know and learn new chapter from 6th class history, new questions and ideas. From chapter 5, you know that some kings in the Mahajanapadas were growing more powerful. New cities were developing and life was changing in the villages. Many thinkers were trying to understand these changes in the society. They also wanted to try and find out the true meaning of life. During this period, Buddha and Mahavira attained enlightenment and spread their knowledge and learning about the real meaning of life to common people. The NCERT class 6th Our Past, chapter 6 talks about the following topics: the story of the Buddha, Upanishads, Jainism, the Sangha and the monasteries. So let's begin with the story of Buddha. About 2500 years ago, 623 BC, Siddhartha, the founder of Buddhism, was born at Lumbini in Nepal. He was also known as Gautam Buddha. The Buddha belonged to a small Gana known as Sakya Gana and was a Kshatriya. When he was a young man, he left the comforts of his home in search of knowledge. He meditated for days on and under the peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar, where he attained enlightenment. After that, he was known as the Buddha or the wise man. He then went to Sarnath near Varanasi, where he taught for the first time. He spent the rest of his life traveling on foot, going from place to place, teaching people till he passed away at Kusinara in Uttar Pradesh. Buddha's teachings. The Buddha taught that life is full of sufferings and unhappiness. Even if we get what we want, we are not satisfied and want even more. The Buddha described this as thirst or tanha. He taught that this constant craving could be removed by following moderation in everything. He also taught people to be kind and to respect the lives of others, including animals. He believed that the results of our actions, called karma, whether good or bad, affects us both in this life and the next. Upanishads. Upanishad means approaching and sitting near. The text content in the Upanishad were the conversation between teachers and the students. Most Upanishadic thinkers were men, especially Brahmins and Rajas. There is mention of women thinkers such as Gargi, who was famous for her learning and participated in debates held in royal courts. Many of the ideas of Upanishads were later developed by the famous thinker Shankaracharya. Jainism. The last 24th Tirthankara of the Jainas was Vardhaman Mahavir. He was a Kshatriya prince of Licchavids, Kathmandu Valley in Nepal, a group that was part of the Vajji Sangha. At the age of 30, he left home and went to live in a forest. For 12 years, he led a hard and lonely life, at the end of which he attained enlightenment. He taught simple doctrine Men and women who wish to know the truth must leave their homes. They must follow very strictly the rules of ahimsa, which means not hurting or killing living beings. Followers of Mahavir, who were known as Jainas, had to lead very simple lives. They had to be absolutely honest and were especially asked not to steal. Also, they had to observe celibacy, meaning brahmacharya. And men had to give up everything, including their clothes. It was very difficult for most of men and women to follow these strict rules. Jainism was supported mainly by traders. The teachings of Mahavira and his followers were transmitted orally for several centuries. Shvetambarats, who wear white cloths, and Digambarats, sky is the limit for these people and were not wearing any cloth, were the two sections within the Jainism. The Sangha. Sangha was an association of those people who left their homes. The rules made for the Buddhist Sangha were written down in a book called Vinay Pitaka. Men and women who joined the Sangha led simple lives. They meditated for most of the time and went to cities and villages to beg for food during the fixed hours. That is why they were known as bhikkhus, the Prakrit word for renouncer, beggar, and bhikkhunis, female bhikkhunis. Those who joined the Sangha included Brahmins, Kshatriya, merchants, laborers, barbers, courtesans, and slaves. Monasteries. Both Jain and Buddhist monks went from place to place throughout the year teaching people. The only time they stayed in one place was during the rainy season, when it was very difficult to travel. Then their supporters built temporary shelters for them in gardens, or they lived in natural caves in hilly areas. The permanent shelters, which monasteries were built, known as viharas. The earliest viharas were made of wood and then of brick. Some were even in caves, especially in Western India. Over the centuries, Buddhism spread to many parts of the subcontinent and beyond. Students, here are new words: Sangha, monastery, 4 ashramas, enlightenment, Upanishads, Vedic text, monk, ahimsa, atma, karma, tanha, and vihars. So please go through these words. This is your lesson, new questions and ideas. I hope you all must have enjoyed the lesson. Keep tuned with History Edulearn, your very own personal YouTube channel.